That's a slow-paced, artsy show for you. Scavengers Reign establishes a clear objective in the premise. A group of people have been stranded on an alien planet after their cargo spaceship was damaged. They need to survive and find a way back to the ship before this strange environment kills them. A simple, well-defined, crystal-clear conflict with an implied ticking clock and a specific goal in sight. The poster boy of mainstream storytelling. Or it would be if the show weren't a crafty little fucker that offers that patina of regular storytelling in order to make us swallow a character study. An alien character study, that is. Scavengers Reign is not about 5 people trying to escape an alien dangerous world. It's about how this alien dangerous world changes them, their relationships and the way they see themselves and the past life that brought them there. In other words, it's about... Symbiosis is the long-term interaction between organisms of different species.
Quid pro quo.
Although symbiosis not always implies both sides get something from it. The show presents us first with 2 of the humans marooned here. They use the biological mechanisms of the creatures from this planet, Vesta Minor, to communicate with their ship, the Demeter. The indigenous species don't get anything out of it. They are even hurt by it. But it's still a kind of symbiosis, as it has been going on for some time. Despite the calm presentation, the first episode has a clear narrative thrust that gets resolved in these first 24 minutes. Sam and Ursula want to bring the Demeter to the planet. The first attempt fails, so they need to retrieve a new battery from a dangerous place. They are almost killed in the process, but they succeed, and they call for the ship. Azi and Levi try to stabilize their life in their area, but several obstacles make it very difficult, so they have to leave, and the landing of the Demeter seals the deal. Kamen has been trapped in his spot all that time. He tries to get out, fails, and finally leaves thanks to the Hollow. He sees the Demeter in the sky, but follows the Hollow. The Demeter crossing the sky serves as a unifying element for the 3 stories. A quest that connects them, even if they are not aware of each other. The same clear connection exists in the rest of the episodes. But anyone watching the show would have get the impression the story has a calm demeanor, even a slow pace, despite what I have just described for a runtime of 24 minutes. It's not just the static camera, nor the unmistakable European style of animation, it's the connecting tissue, life, and never-ending symbiosis. All throughout the episodes there are lots and lots of instances of animal and plant life, sometimes just moving, looking at something, existing, often in the midst of some overcomplicated method of retrieving food, eating, reproducing, protecting their young, etc. But in most cases there are all simple movements and elaborated biological contrivances alike, portrayed as absolutely mundane. They may involve violence and death, it's all mundane anyway. No matter how dramatic is everything around them. The ordinary mundanity of nature in all its aspects. In episode 2, when Levi shows Azi her secret place, there is this first moment of understandable awe, but soon the different animals, plants and their tasks are shown with supreme serenity. Half the animal documentaries in our world feel the need to include a dramatic script and a powerful voice.
For the hunters.
But here, all this weird stuff is carried out with the utmost plainness. There are thrilling moments, of course.
Sam, don't.
And the life in the planet is shown as potentially dangerous for the humans from the start. But everything has a distinctively placid, timeless feel to it. This was happening before you humans got here, and will continue when you are gone, or dead. You may think the animals and plants of Vesta Minor and their actions are odd, off-putting, disgusting, cruel, or beautiful, or transcendent, but they just are. That's why, in my opinion, this slow ease dominates the show. even with all the threatening moments, action scenes, and even horror imagery it has. The intention was showing symbiosis, showing it everywhere and at all times. To do so, the creators made two fundamental choices. If symbiosis is ubiquitous, it has to feel like an ocean all living beings are immersed in, but they don't realize it, hence the normality. And the second choice, start the show when our main characters have been on Vesta Minor for several weeks, months even. Show that, in contrast with the indigenous plants and animals, they are still adapting to this ocean of symbiosis. They are well in the process though. It has been months, not days. This way the show can display the different degrees of adaptations, according with the characters' personalities, their approaches, and their very different past and present circumstances. Also, because the characters have been living on Vesta Minor for a while, Scavengers Reign can avoid the typical gaze of people stranded on an alien planet, looking at everything with a mixture of awe and fear that would clash with the calm ubiquity the creators want to convey in regards to the biological processes here. At the same time, our main characters haven't been living on Vesta Minor so much time that they don't have moments of jaw-dropping true discovery. In fact, those that exist hit harder precisely because they are not constant, but sparse. The most astonishing thing the show does is presenting the living relationships, the symbiosis, with such overwhelming normality that it feels only natural how much living here had changed and will continue to change our characters. Vesta Minor feels uniquely alien, which is to say, particularly different. More than the weird landscapes and the imaginative design of everything, this quaint oddness comes from how the show illustrates symbiosis as a collaborative puzzle, a succession of processes that feed into each other in inventive ways, both captivating and, as supervising director Benji Brooks said in an interview, borderline silly. If you think about it, all of this is biology by Rube Goldberg. Utterly overcomplicated, that's why I love it so damn much, but charming, mesmerizing even. It's hyper-sequentially convoluted. One thing triggers the next, then the next. Some sub-processes are short and straightforward, others take a long time and give 1,000 turns. All processes in Vesta Minor work in this concatenate way. I don't know if this can be considered symbiosis, but it's certainly Rube Goldberg-esque. The ivory plant stimulates several small creatures that make a literal assembly line to rebuild Levi. The show walks a fine line between the calm, indifferent mundanity of the ever-present symbiosis soup and the often funny way in which things work here, as if a ridiculous scientist had designed Vesta Minor. The alien aspect lies exactly there. No one designed it, so no one in Vesta Minor cares if the humans, the characters or us, the audience, see this as silly, this as cruel, this as tragic, this as transcendent. It just is. Welcome to Vesta Minor, the planet where you can do almost anything by using nature or being used by it. We are going to show you a few easy hacks to make your stay here more comfortable. Sam and Ursula. They are the most adapted to the planet. They actively use the biological processes of the native life for their quest to get back to the Demeter. They are the most adapted, but also the more determined to live. Kamen and the Hollow. Kamen appears alone and cut off from the planet inside his crushed pod. He's the least adapted, and when he gets into the world, unprepared and alone, he enters a damaging kind of symbiosis with the Hollow. He's the more foreign, and also the one who gets into arguably the deeper relationship with the planet life. Azi and Levi. A human and a robot are the middle point. Azi plants crops like you do on Earth. She builds fences. In that sense, she is more settled than Sam and Ursula. But she keeps her distance more than them too, and she doesn't start to actively escape the world until she has to. Levi, for its part, has started the most gradual adaptation to the world. All of this character back and forth is a reflection of how the show presents Vesta Minor and its wildlife. Nature is not one thing. It's not just a pure benign thing to venerate, neither a dangerous, unforgiving battleground for survival. Not even any concrete middle point. It's several things at the same time, in different degrees, in different moments. Nothing is static, nothing is contradictory because everything is contradictory. The same can be said of our protagonists. The most adapted are the most determined to live. Both want to go, but one appreciates the life here, the other doesn't. The least adapted stays, enters an intense relationship with the planet life, but equally flawed and fundamentally strange as his previous relationship with a human. The ones in the middle. Azi has Sam's drive to live, but she is able to eventually appreciate Vesta Minor as Ursula does. Being the human in this pair, it takes more time for her to welcome the oddities of the planet than for Levi, the robot. Not so different from how much Azi struggled to make personal connections before Vesta Minor. He goes from brash, impatient, laser-focused on living and indifferent to the planet, to contempt with his fate, after experiencing, quite literally on the inside, the weird life of Vesta Minor. From hopeful and attuned to the planet, to just realistic, after experiencing sometimes shit happens and not everything can be solved. From desperate and self-centered, always looking for the next big thing, to peaceful, appreciative of little things and attentive to detail, after going through the apex of consumption. From resentful of those stronger than him to just walk away when he loses, after becoming the one that can bully everybody else. The Hollow is not human, and its behavior comes in many ways from being influenced by a kind of brain he's not prepared to meld with, a human one. From wary and distrustful, the kind of person that keeps to themselves as a defense mechanism, to welcoming change and others, after losing an unexpected true friendship and suffering at the hands of truly uncaring people. From a robot beginning to experiencing change, to create life, after going through a true metamorphosis. Even so, and this is the hallmark of a true character arc, all of them are still who they were at the start. Ursula is still positive, Kamen is still damaged, Azi is still a bit of a loner, Levi is still machine-like. Symbiosis is everywhere, and it's treated as this everyday fact of life. That doesn't mean it can't be dramatic. There are, in particular, 3 instances of symbiosis that are so rad.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Kamen feeds the Hollow as a new kind of servant. But Kamen is not this little green simple creature. He's a human. And a human obsessed with doing something more, getting results. So he escalates. When Kamen feeds the Hollow meat, seems clear it's not his usual diet, but he accepts it. The creature grows, and he bit more than he can chew with the human. Kamen's pain and grief over Fiona and his responsibility in the ship's accident infects the Hollow as much as the goo makes Kamen addict to the Hollow. Here, symbiosis becomes codependency. Just the kind of relationship Fiona didn't want with Kamen. But he is seemingly incapable of being more mature, even if he did care for Fiona. You can say Kamen craved seeing Fiona again, and he found in the Hollow a substitute for that kind of relationship that couldn't have with her. Sam is saved by the old lady, but also infected like she was. He feels great at first, liberated from his constant worry about the crew, responsibility toward them. He's able to appreciate the world around him the same way Ursula has always been, but it's mostly a byproduct of the infection. He gets so much into staying to do the parasite's bidding. That triggers Ursula's change. The roles reverse. Now, as much as she can enjoy the weird life in the planet, she faces the same feelings Sam had when she seemed to him not committed enough with the mission. It changes both of them. This intense moment is the equivalent in Vesta Minor to bees carrying pollen from one flower to the next. Feels completely strange, fascinatingly so. It seems to be a completely different evolutionary type of symbiosis. On Earth, insects get food from flowers and then carry some in their own bodies to the next flower, pollinating that one. Here, the plant seems to create this small, brief life with the only purpose of selecting the initiating piece of the pollination and put it in place. It's again Rube Goldberg-like and breathtaking in how removed from our own experience it feels. The creators of the Scavengers Reign mentioned the influence of this 1982 animation movie, Time Masters, but I don't think it has been mentioned enough. It was all I could think about when I started watching the Scavengers Reign. Time Masters captured me with a style of animation I hadn't seen before, just as the Scavengers Reign is doing today with many people, even if the show doesn't get half the attention it deserves. Time Masters forged my aversion to uniformity. This chant still sends chills through my spine. Scavengers Reign seriously goes for diversity in life. The plot twist in Time Masters that maybe nowadays it's not that great, but for a not even 10-year-old before the internet, it absolutely blew me away. Scavengers Reign is a different kind of story, no matter the visual similarities, but I really meant that title. If you liked one, you are going to enjoy the other.